think with a 7-2 record, the Albuquerque Adams would be comfortable in a position that they're in right now, but only a half game ahead of second place Mexico City. They've got themselves in a tight battle here tonight in the comforts of their own home at Jordana del Muerto. But you always have to tell them, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. The 2-7 Chicago Warriors come to Albuquerque to face the Adams. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I am Brett Solberg. Alongside me is Rochelle Colston. Rochelle, this is a big game for both teams, not just only for separation in the South Division for Albuquerque, but for Chicago, just to get themselves some redemption. A lot of close games over the last couple weeks. It's going to be a tight battle. What do you see for these two teams on the road to success tonight?
Well, Type Attack has 23 interceptions and has been sacked 31 times. His O-line needs to do a better job. Type Attack also has more rushing yards than both his backs. So I think he needs to get the ball to other players besides himself. And also need to stop K. Marion on the other side and stop the defensive end Chris Porter from sacking the quarterback. He's got 9 sacks and leads the league.
We're going to see Chicago start things off here tonight as away we go here in Albuquerque. An early fumble on the return, but it's recovered by the hands team of Chicago. But they're going to start things off a little bit deeper than expected at the 18-yard line. That is a big hit early on. The Adams are responding early to this home cooking. And it was mentioned earlier, Rochelle, 11-0 all time at Jordana del Muerto for the Albuquerque Adams, looking to get themselves to 12-0 here tonight. But Chicago starts off with the ball first.
Well, I'm glad you did pronounce the stadium and not me, because I don't think I could have done it.
I had to pronounce that so many times before the show started. But Patak back to throw on first down, and it gets tipped just before it lands onto the receiver. And the defense for Albuquerque, led by TJ Frosty, the man who got the deflection, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, that could have been a disaster on the first play of the first drive.
And you were just mentioning this. Type Attack, 23 interceptions, league worst in the league, but it goes to show that he's making the effort to try to get Chicago moving. 2nd and 10, Patak again, back to throw. He slings it down the middle, and once again, TJ Frosty gets his hands on the football, and it was almost intercepted by the wayward hands of William Patterson. Let's quickly go through, Rochelle, this Chicago Warriors offense that is led by Type Attack. We mentioned him earlier on, as well as halfback Bellew Scott and fullback Dean Jackson. Wide receivers Gus Scott, T. DeQueen, and John Fullerton. Tight end Paulie Truth, along with the linemen Jackie Jones, Jess Fullerton Galarza, and Robin Mono on the line. Shotgun formation on 3rd and 10, and Patak, you can see the legs going through him. He's trying to scramble through, but there is nobody open, and there's no room around him. And Albuquerque's defense has come to party early on in this matchup.
Let's call that a covered sack. I mean, he just held the ball and kept scrambling and scrambling. I'm surprised he didn't take off running like he normally does.
Yeah, and we're so used to Patak, it's almost a fight or flight mentality that he has that instant, run. But he decided to hold on to it, and that might have been to his detriment. Now, Chicago punting the football inside the 1-yard line. So Albuquerque's going to have good field position. It's going to be returned past midfield and onto the Chicago 49-yard line. And here, we're going to see Cyrus Jive and company lead the action. Ray, this is a number 3 offense in the league, 26.7 points per game. And like you said, it's that connection from Jive to Marion that we got to focus on.
I'll tell you guys, look out for Jason Williams in the backfield.
That's also a big target out there, a league-leading 11 rushing touchdowns this season so far for Williams. But it's going to be a Jive throw to Williams to start things off for Albuquerque's drive, and it's stuffed right away from the defense. Good response by strong safety Alex Bond. And let's quickly go through the Albuquerque Adams offense, shall we? Cyrus Jive is the quarterback. Running backs of the Williams duo, Jason and Justin. Halfback and fullback duo. Wide receiver trio of Kyle Finnemore, Clarence Lee, and K. Marion. Tight end Jack Wall. And linemen Queen Porter, Max Van Linga, Jarian Jones, and Leah Williams. As this pass gets deflected mid-throw, it was intended for Justin Williams. They tried to go to the other Williams brother, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, I thought for sure he had that. He actually caught that, but just dropped it.
Yeah, there was a couple guys around there in white jerseys, but it looked like it was unimpeded. Maybe just a little bit of a lapse in judgment. They're going to go empty set on third down. 5 receivers out. Tried to throw pump fakes, but the time runs out. And back-to-back third down sacks for both these teams, as it looks like Travis Warren, the backup defensive end, gets the sack.
Yeah, and poor Cyrus Job never saw that coming. It was from the backside.
And
Good job on defense on both sides.
the biggest side you want to defend on your quarterback is his blind side, and Albuquerque's offensive line did not do that. But now Chicago with an opportunity to get back on track. We'll see how far this punt goes along. It will be returned at the 11-yard line, and it will gain a little bit of extra traction, but it will only get on Arnaud's battle to around the 18-19-yard line. Chicago now with their second drive starting up.
At least they're starting from near their own 20 this time.
Pretty much at touchback territory is where Chicago's going to start things off. They're going to go 2 receivers to the right alongside a left receiver as well, almost playing a pseudo tight end slot position. Patak back to throw once again, finds his target over on the right side. That's a good connection to T to Queen to get the first down of this game.
And that time, Type Attack, step back and threw it in heavy traffic, but somehow found his receiver pretty much open in the middle of all of them.
Yeah, it was a small pocket to get it to DeQueen, but found a way to get it into the outstretched hand of T, and it was great work from Patak. He's going to reset the downs. 1st and 10 once again. 3 receivers out. Again, you have that tight end slot position. It's going to be a rollout for Patak on 1st down. Finds DeQueen again, this time down the middle, and it'll cross midfield. Chicago with 2 explosive plays to get to enemy territory.
Yeah, I like this little drive going so far by Chicago. Finding T. DeQueen attack in the middle of the field. He's finding a spot in between all the defenders.
Almost in the middle between a post and a slant route for DeQueen. Finds again those open pockets. And if you're type attack and you're going to be a pass-happy quarterback, you've got to find those open holes that Albuquerque gives you. Once again, it's going to be 1st and 10. Offset I over on the strong side. And it will be the first handoff of the game. And it will get some modest yardage. 4 yards will be coming in. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Nice way to throw a run play in there, catching defense a little bit off track because we've been seeing the heavy passing.
Yeah, big heavy set here on 2nd and 6. One single back behind Patak, and they're going to drag one of those in-men down to the right side. Patak trying to throw, didn't have much time to get that baby off, and it's going to be 3rd and 6.
Yeah, you felt the pressure at that time for sure, and just hurried the pass. It was a duck.
And sometimes it's just better to sling that rock to nobody while you're getting hit, as opposed to having it up in the air. So it was a good decision by Patak. Now it's 3rd and 6, 3 receivers out. He once again back to throw, quick passes, trying to get to Gus Scott, and couldn't manage to handle that football. So the Chicago drive, as explosive as it started, fizzles out. 4th and 6.
I think we'll see a punt here, and I think this time Albuquerque won't get the field position they had on their first drive.
Be up to the task of fill up the field. The second punt already in this quarter. We're not even halfway through the first drive. We've already seen 3 punts in this contest. Just trying to pin this baby, but it's going to be fair caught at the 11-yard line. So Albuquerque will now have their second chance out on the field in this quarter, and their first drive ended the same way that Chicago's first drive was, 3 and out after a sack.
Right, this time, compared to their last 3 in field position, this is horrible on their own 11.
Going split backs with 2 tight ends and 2 receivers. These are one of the more run-happy formations, and they will hand this off. It's going to be Jason Williams who gets the first carry of this drive and gets 5 yards to set up a 2nd and medium.
Nice first down play, picking up 5 yards on first down. Then your 2nd and 5. Your playbook is wide open here.
And for those watching at home, 34 is Jason, 32 is Justin. I'm not saying that just to keep track of myself. 2nd down, they're going to hand things off, and it's going to go this time to Frank Taylor, who's going to get 4 yards and to set up a 3rd and short.
What's interesting about both these teams is they both only have one running back, which is very unusual in the SFL.
Yeah, we see a lot in this league, 2 running backs, even 2 fullbacks on certain teams. They try to utilize, both as much as they can. Heavy set on 3rd and 1. This screams run if I'm Albuquerque, and they will toss it over to Jason Williams, who will shed a tackle to get the 1st down and will keep trudging for more. That's another 6 yards for Jason, and that moves the chains.
And that was all Jason Williams. He broke the 1st tackle, just kept moving forward, and somehow managed to pick up the 1st down. They had him behind the line of scrimmage initially.
Yeah, Albuquerque doesn't, explode in terms of stats. 12th in the league in rushing, 15th in pass, and they will toss this one off once again, but Chicago gets right as to where the toss was happening. A loss of 2 sets up a 2nd and 12.
A great play by number 32. It's Ricky Robinson.
Chicago does very well to utilize those corners, not in just coverage, but in run support as well. Jive back to throw on 2nd down, and will get back those yards and then some. Kay Marion with a tough catch to get 11 yards.
Let's talk about Kay Marion for a minute. I mean, she's got that's her 67 reception. She's got probably over 1,200 yards now. She leads the league in both receptions and yards.
And get this, Ray, just 48 yards needed to tie her career high in yards in a season, as that run goes right up the middle and gets a 1st down. Remember, back in season 21, back in her Sioux Falls Sparrows days, she had 1,239 yards and 4 touchdowns that season. So she's trying to set herself up for a career season, and it's a great way to do so with Albuquerque surging at 7-2. Another offset I formation with 2 tight ends and 2 receivers. It's going to be another run. And they're utilizing as many running backs as they can. That's Taylor for 2 yards.
And the backup's doing a really good job also.
And you got to give credit to that offensive line as well to give that opportunity for Taylor to get those yards. And check that, it's going to be 4 yards, not 2, as my glasses fail me for the 2nd time already tonight. Split backs on 2nd and 6. It's going to be a handoff to Jason Williams, who's going to inch closer to that 1st down marker. And once again, Albuquerque setting themselves up on a 2nd and short, this time 2 yards from the line.
Jason Williams is so explosive. I mean, he just busts through. He's really, really quick to get from behind the line of scrimmage. He just busts through the line.
Yeah, that's probably what aids him to being the league leading rushing touchdown man, along with being a top 10 running back in terms of yards. Jive will go back to throw on 3rd down, and that time ran out immediately. No chance. Meliodas Matting with the sack to force another 4th down for Albuquerque.
And Meliodas Manning is on an all-star run. That's his 13th tackle for loss.
Yeah, and that's his 4th sack of the season as well. And you don't see a lot of sacks from secondary players. So he's got to be up there amongst the top of the league in quarterback sacks this season, as that punt goes away and it will be returned at the 15-yard line. Fumbled again, and his ball's loose, and it goes back to Albuquerque.
Nope.
So consider that an arm punt, Ray. Albuquerque has themselves red zone territory.
Wow, that's just disastrous for Chicago. I mean, has this happened, now twice?
It happened on the kickoff to start off the game, and now it's happened on the 2nd punt return for Chicago tonight, and we're not even through the 1st stanza of this contest. At the 18 is where Albuquerque is going to start this set of downs, and they're going to shift Marion to balance out this field over to the right side. It will be Jive back to throw. Better protection than last time. Tries to get to Marion on the right side, but great work from, I would say, probably one of the best defensive players in the league. Kronk Worthy has a great hit to jar the ball loose.
I think that was Kyle Fenimore.
You might be right on there. I'm looking at it. It might have been, Penn. That is Kyle Fenimore. I need to get my eyes checked, Ray.
I'm actually wearing my glasses tonight too, so
Yeah, so you might have to help me out here. Jive back to throw once again.
all
A short
day.
step drop finds Finnemore on the right side and has plenty of space
Oh
and
my
drives
gosh.
it through. Crosses the end zone line and puts 6 on the board. Albuquerque with the touchdown.
Yeah, Kyle Finnemore just did some very creative running there. Broke a tackle and just right there. Broke the tackle. Nice block there by number 34. That's Jason Williams with a nice block.
Not just a pretty face and a good running back. He's also a good blocker as well. But Finnemore, that's the effectiveness of a drag route. You just need to get that space so you get that catch and run to happen. And Albuquerque gets the first score of the game as that kick is up and good, makes it 7-0 early, or I should say late on in this first quarter. And that was a wild drive from start to finish.
Yeah, I think I was Chicago. I think I'd change my return person at this point.
You know what? I might be with you on that. They might have to get it away. I think that was Arnaud's battle again with the jarring of the ball loose. But the kick is going to be underway, and there's no chance to get that ball returned as that sailed way past the end zone line, and Chicago will start things off once again at the 20-yard line. Ray, you've seen this Chicago offense play a little bit now. What needs to change in order to move, a little bit faster or potentially get to the end zone?
Well, I mean, they're looking better tonight. Usually it's all I've seen in the past is type attack run the ball. So glad they're not doing that anymore.
They're going to shift over receiver onto the right side.
He has 5 receivers on his team.
Attack is back to throw, and he will go to the out route on Fullerton and will get the reception. That is a 3-yard gain. We'll make it 2nd and 7.
Yeah, credit the secondary there. They're not giving them much to throw at.
It's been difficult going so far, but Patak is 4 of 8 to start off this contest. We'll go back to throw again on 2nd down. Finds his target again on that right side. Dean Jackson getting involved in the pass game to get the first down.
A nice play. Nice catch, actually. He was hit pretty hard by number 33 there.
Almost a little bit of a swing route from Jackson to get open. But like you said, big hit from Bryant James to halt any more forward progression. It's going to be I formations, I pro here on 1st and 10. And it's nearly picked off. Jack Napier had his hands on that football. Another ill-advised throw from Patak.
I thought it was Frosty again for a second. So all I saw was the 2.
My glasses were working this time as I saw 1 beside that 2. It was definitely Jack Napier with that deflection.
It was.
I'm going to set up with that same formation. 2nd and 10. It's a pro set with 2 receivers, but they are going to shift the receiver out. It's going to be T to Queen now going to the right side.
I'll look for her in the middle of the field.
Attack back to throw. And we'll go down the middle, but we'll find Fullerton instead, and we'll cross midfield once again. And it's again, we saw this last drive, Ray. We had 2 explosive passes from Chicago to cross midfield.
I mean, they're doing a good job of moving the ball down the field. It just kind of fizzles out. But, pretty much wide open there in the middle of the field.
And like I was stating earlier, they just have to find those open pockets that Albuquerque gives you because the open looks are there. You just have to find your receivers. Offset eye on 1st and 10. The attack will go back to throw again. Moves over to the right and tries to find Gus Scott over the right side, but it's incomplete, deflected in front by Daniel Valentine.
Yep, that's way too many pass deflections. He's throwing for some pretty dangerous passes.
So 4 pass deflections out of his 12 passes so far. So 4 of his 6 incompletions have gone to deflections. Attack back to throw once again. Swings it out to Jackson, and we'll get some decent space before getting hit. Not before getting 5 yards, setting up a 3rd and manageable.
I like that play. And it actually worked pretty well. He got 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5. You're expecting a pass here from Patak.
Well, that swing pass was the tried and true play of the APF era, not so much for the 4K23. Don't see it all too often. Patak back to throw on 3rd down. Gets out of the pocket and is forced to try to get things through, but there's no space at all. Bryant James gets the sack and ends Chicago's drive.
Yeah, Brian James coming from a strong safety position to get the sack. I mean, the O-line held as long as it could. It made some great blocking, but the play just didn't develop.
Well, it looked like James was on coverage on one of the running backs on that play and then saw Patak run and just decided to book it. And Chicago will hold on to this, and we'll see that fourth down punt in the second quarter. First stanza in the books. Albuquerque leads things 7-0. Don't go away. We'll be right back after about, how about now? And we welcome you back to Jordana del Muerto here in Albuquerque. Brett Sahlberg alongside Rochelle Colston. Chicago's going to punt this football away here after, again, another drive fizzles out once they cross enemy territory, and that is a booming, sailing kick. It gets to around the 14-yard line. Finnemore with a little bit of space, and will get an okay return to the 18-yard line. Now with Albuquerque in the lead, do you see a little bit more running action from Albuquerque?
Well, Albuquerque's doing a great job of running a balanced offense, and I think they always do, which is probably to their benefit.
They haven't had to do much in terms of plays. Just 5 passes, 4 runs so far from that first quarter. It's going to be a pass on first down, trying to get to Marion, and had 2 defenders in the area. It's going to fall incomplete.
I didn't see who got the pass deflection.
Yeah, it's not only just Ron Haynes and a doobie-doo here on stats. Rochelle Colston, second nature for her, trying to find the person who gets the pass deflection.
Of course.
2nd and 10, split backs on 3 receiver set. Jive back to throw again on 2nd down, and we'll find a target. That's going to be the fullback Williams to get the catch and run to get Albuquerque another first down.
We can say Williams almost all the time because there's so many Williams on this team.
Oh, it's just the 2. It's just Jason and
Justin. There's Josh.
And there's Josh Williams. Yeah, Joshua Williams as well, but he's only got the 1 assisted tackle so far, according to our stats truck, Doo and Ron Haynes. Second mention in the last 2 minutes. I'm doing pretty well with that. 1st and 10. It's going to be an offset I formation. Jive back to throw on a 2-step drop and tries to find Finnemore and connects with him. Finnemore gets just enough space for Jive to sling that ball off, and it's a beautiful connection.
I mean, the secondary did their job. I mean, that was well covered. It was just a perfect pass.
And you could just see the space right away as Finnemore had plenty of space past Derek Majors, and Jive had no other choice than to throw the ball that way, and it results in good progression down the field for Albuquerque.
He's got 2 receptions for 37 yards and a touchdown already.
I mean, he's looking pretty good so far, and he's basically the source of the scoring here tonight. Jive back to throw again, this time on first down, trying to find the hands of Jack Wall, and maybe this might be in consideration for Jack Wall to finally invest in some gloves.
Hey, he wants to feel the football on his hands.
That's fair. If anyone's seen Jack Wall over the seasons, especially in the seasons at Canton, he's an old school kind of guy. He likes to have those bare hands to grab the football. I don't blame him. Jive again, back to throw, goes for the swing pass, finds Jason Williams, who will get the first down. So not only is he good on the run game, but he gets that catch and run game going along as well.
He's definitely an all-around back. He can do it all, and once he gets the ball, he's dangerous.
Williams in the season, 17 receptions, 76 yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. So that means he has crossed Pater 14 times this season, better than anyone else in the league. They're going to shift Jack Wall over to the slot side on the left. Might indicate Chicago's zone style as Jive slings that rock over to Justin Williams. And again, if it ain't one Williams that's grabbing the ball, it's going to be the other Williams to get it.
And then all you see is the 3. You're like, okay, which one is it?
Yeah, that's the difficulty. I love neon green jerseys, but it doesn't matter what number or what color of the number you have behind it. You always got to squint your eyes and figure out, is that a 2 or a 4?
Don't get me wrong, I love these uniforms.
Handoff over to Jason Williams, who will inch himself forward, but not enough. They're going to mark it 3rd and inches coming up for the Adams.
If I was the Adams, I'd just run it one more time. I mean, you're like, literally inches.
is where I go with a heavier set. I agree with you, Ray, and just, hand that ball off. They do have, it looks like Frank Taylor that's going to be in that backfield on that halfback position. And they will give it to him on 3rd and inches, and great work from that offensive line to push forward and give Taylor plenty of space to get that first down.
Albuquerque's doing a nice job of moving the ball down the field. This time they're using a little bit of clock.
And sometimes the name of the game is the time possession. Jive back to throw will sling things off to Williams once again. And he will just move himself forward. That swing pass, that catch and run from Jason Williams, we've only seen it a couple times, but it's worked so well for him so far.
Yeah, but it's working because they're setting up in a really heavy set, and there's nobody, no corners on the outside. There's lots of green space in front of him.
Yeah, and that's what you want to have, especially in a heavy set. You want to get those defensive players all situated in one area so you can misdirect them, and then you can go with that swing pass and, like you said, frolicking in the grass essentially. Pass.
Ooh.
Oh, that looked to be a great target for Jive, but it was even better defended. That's a great deflection by DJ Kilgannon.
The outside linebacker just putting his hands up. Great job in coverage there.
Yeah, not a lot of pass deflections in the linebacker game, which is a little unorthodox to Chicago's defense. Just the 3rd pass deflection this season for Kilgannon, but it's going to be 2nd and 10 now for Albuquerque. Jive back to throw once again. He'll go out of his pocket and goes with the safe option, but it goes off the shoulder of Justin Williams and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, 3rd and 10, you're in field goal range. You don't make a mistake here. You want to get some points on the board.
Especially with how low scoring this has been through the first 14 minutes of this game. You don't want to make any mistakes, especially when you're in the red zone. That's a great point. They're going to set up heavy on receivers. 3 to the right, 1 to the left. It'll be Jive back to throw. Trying to find Wall, but it was well covered. And didn't really have a chance to get that football. Majors here on the deflection.
And we'll see a field goal unit out here now. That's Rob Ems. Money Ems is on the field.
Yeah, big Money Ems has been money all season. Perfect 17 of 17. One of a handful of kickers this season to be perfect. And this kick sailing from right to left, but eventually crosses Main Street, and that is no problem at all for the Adams. A 13-play drive ending in 3 points makes it a 10-0 game here in the 2nd quarter. Now, Rochelle, rooms are going fast in the 2025 SFL convention, kicking off this league's 25th anniversary season, July 10th to 13th. If you want to go, you need to book your stay now. Join SFL Nation at the rooftop pool of our host hotel, the Hyatt Regency. You can reserve your room now at the special group rate at simfl.net. Chicago, again, starting things off at the 20-yard line, and we've seen this tale a couple times where they start to get a drive going, and then it fizzles out once they get into the other side of the field. Let's see if things change on this one. First down, Patak back to throw, looking for a deep target, finds DeQueen on the right side. Excellent one-handed catch. She's done that a couple times already.
Right, it's all in the middle of the field. Usually his favorite target is Polly Truth. He's been really quiet tonight.
Yeah, not a lot of Polly Truth yet tonight, but it's been a lot of Fullerton and DeQueen, who are number 2 and 3 and in receptions. DeQueen at 26 coming into this game, Fullerton at 18. Reset the chains on first down. Similar formation that they had before. Attack will be back to throw once again. Finds another target. This is going to be Fullerton to grab the catch, and it's another first down immediately for the Warrior offense.
I mean, this time they bring all the receivers to the middle of the field, and they're just finding spots in between the secondary.
Yeah, and
the linebackers.
Those are the perfect spots again. And I try to say this as much as I can. The spot between the linebackers and the safeties, it could be an open hole to take advantage of. Patak back to throw again on first down. Goes middle, finds DeQueen again down the middle. And for the first time in this contest, Chicago has crossed the opponent 30-yard line.
I mean, you cannot leave any receiver that wide open. I mean, look at her. She's just all by herself on an island.
Extremely soft zone from Albuquerque's defense, which led to DeQueen being wide open down that middle of the field. And Patak is starting to find those open holes, as seen on his last 10 pass attempts. He just needs to get some results in terms of the scoreboard. Patak back to throw once again and goes middle once again. Fullerton with another catch. It goes to DeQueen. Fullerton, DeQueen, Fullerton. They are moving down the field.
And once again, another soft spot. Look at that. Nice catch, though. It was a pretty big hit at the end of that one.
Yeah, one of the downsides on a zone defense is that there is more open pockets to throw that football as opposed to a man-style defense. Attack again, back to throw, moving around the pocket, trying to find a target, and he does. Dean Jackson down the middle, put 6 on the board for Chicago.
You don't see that very often, Brett. You have a fullback running a route to the end zone and made a perfect pass and way to hang on.
And it was great work from Jackson as well. You see him just slide right beside his edge tackler and go straight down the field. No Albuquerque defender noticed him as he got to the end zone before it was too late. First receiving touchdown of the season for Dean Jackson, and that's also his 4th of his career. That puts a marker for Chicago. It is now 10-7 halfway through the second.
And that time, just caught the defense completely off guard with that one, I think.
Yeah, for a team that, passes the football to its tight ends and its wide receivers, coming into this game, Jackson only had 3 receptions. He's already got 2 tonight. Kickoff is going to be kneeled down for a touchback, and now Albuquerque didn't see this coming, I don't think, after what they've seen in the first quarter from Chicago. They're still up 3. Can they replicate what they did on that touchdown drive earlier on to get the score? Another I formation to start things off for Albuquerque, and it will be a run for Jason Williams. And it looked like there was some open space, but Chicago's defense did well to shore up that hole. It's only going to be a 3-yard gain.
And you get a good job of converging on the ball that time. All the defenders went for the runner.
And those defenders have to be ready immediately once they see that handoff. They're going to flip the formation for 2nd down. And they will shift Marion to balance that field again. They've done this a couple times on this I-Pro formation. It's going to be another handoff, this time to Taylor, who will get a little extra traction, and will make it now 3rd and 3 for the Adams.
Yeah, Taylor's coming in and doing a really good job as a backup.
And I think what's helping is that it's just a different looking running back altogether. Chicago's so focused on Jason and Justin Williams that Taylor's kind of taking advantage of this. Now 3rd and 3, jive back to throw, looking short to Wall, and might have overthrown him just a little bit too much. And this Albuquerque drive will fizzle out, 4th down.
See, but the referee could have caught that one.
What would happen if the referee?
I don't know.
Would he try to return it for a touchdown himself? And would we have like a 3-team scoreboard? Chicago 7, Albuquerque 10, referee 7.
That'd be fun.
I mean, it'd be like one of those Futurama-esque situations. Have you ever seen their take on baseball? As that return goes to the 36-yard line, Chicago now with an ample opportunity to take this lead after they get their scoring drive. Do you see more passes coming along their way for Ty Patak and company?
If it's not broken, don't fix it. I mean, he's doing a great job passing right now. He's on a roll. He's hot. He's in his zone.
Yeah, I like it. In the zone. And it's exactly what he is. 12 of 18, 155, and 1 touchdown so far in this first half for Patak. As he steps back on a 3-step drop. Quick target to Fullerton. Finds it down the middle. And the middle might be what's hurting Albuquerque in this first half.
Yeah, I think at halftime, Albuquerque could find some man coverage on defense in the secondary because the zone's killing them.
That might be something where they just drop a linebacker deeper, or they get their safeties in a little bit more. But that middle of the field has been, prime territory. It's almost been a treasure chest waiting to be opened, and Chicago has found the key. attack on a short step drop again. Has
Ooh.
pursuing defenders on his blind side, but gets out of the way to get a 6-yard scramble. And there is the nimble feet of Ty Patak coming into action.
I think it was a smart play by Patak there. I mean, the pressure was coming. He was like dead to rights and just took off.
Both Leo Jefferson and Neil Rivers were on the pursuit, but couldn't get to one of the fastest quarterbacks in the league. Patak back to throw once again.
Ooh.
Almost intercepted. And I think that's Patterson almost getting to the football again.
You know, linebackers aren't known for their hands. He did a good job of making the pass deflection.
Well, you should know this, Ray. All of our linebackers here in the SFL go to the Jeff Gagne School of Hard Knocks, where they just have absolute stone hands after the front.
Or the Ray Colson School of catchy.
See, that's for safeties. Patak back to throw here on third down.
Nice.
Finds a target on the right side. And Tina Queen and John Fullerton have been mowing down this Albuquerque defense.
It's not like they have plenty of receivers on this team. They have 5. But Tina Queen and, you know, Fullerton seem to be his targets tonight.
DeQueen with her 5th reception, now up to 86 yards, officially 89. John Fullerton, 5 of 5, now at 66 yards himself. It has been a 2-man show for the receiving corps in Chicago tonight. This time they're going to hand things off on first down, just trying to balance things out, but Bellew Scott can't get anywhere. A joint list of tacklers, and that'll get us to the 2-minute warning. Chicago starting to threaten things here on home turf for Albuquerque. It is 10-7 with 2 minutes left.
And that was our first rushing attempt tonight.
That seems to be the case this season, where Bellew, not a lot of carries in the game. You'll see spot action from her every now and again. Kind of been the name of the game. Patak back to throw, trying to find Scott, and that is the one receiver who has not had the same luck as his counterparts. That is the 4th target that has fallen incomplete to Scott's way.
Demar Bryant Jr. on the hit.
You know, this Albuquerque defense isn't, one to, second guess, especially that secondary core. Omar Bryant Jr., Daniel Valentine, along with safeties TJ Frosty, Jack Napier, Brian James. We've all said their name, at least a couple times in this first half. We're going to shift the 3rd receiver over the right side, try to overload things a little bit. Patak back to throw, trying to find one of those receivers on that right side. It looked to be Fullerton in that area, but it falls incomplete. 4th and 10. And this could be a field goal attempt coming up.
And that was well defended by Albuquerque. All I saw was 5 green jerseys when I looked at that play.
Hofer Kiefer off the left hash will get a 46-yard attempt coming up. This is to tie the football game. It is earing left, and it is no good. Kiefer kicks it too far left, and Chicago gets 0 on the drive.
Definitely had the leg. He just, barely missed it.
3rd missed field goal for Kiefer this season. And you don't see a lot of field goals missed in this league here. You see a lot more perfect kickers, but unfortunately Kiefer is not one of them. And now Albuquerque will start things off at the 36-yard line. They will start off with a pass to Jack Wall on first down, who will net 7 yards on that short hitch route.
I think it's his first catch. He's had a couple of attempts, but he's dropped most of them. So yeah, it's his first catch.
Yeah,
he's had 4 targets so far.
And it's been rough goings on the passing game as well. A little bit on. Jive just 9 of 17. You're used to more accurate stats from Jive coming in. Handoff to Jason Williams, struggling to get forward, but will get a yard or 2 to set up a 3rd and short.
Yeah, 3rd and 2. You're probably gonna see Albuquerque try to run here, I would think.
Well, we've seen it a couple times. It could either be a run or it's going to be a swing pass from this formation here. It's a very heavy set. They practically got their whole team on the line.
Yeah, look for this wing. Nope.
It will be a handoff to Jason Williams, who did have a little bit of struggle. Did look like he got the first down initially, but he bursted through. And Albuquerque will call their first timeout to preserve some time.
Yeah, that was all Jason Williams there. Just determination to get the first down.
And he got stymied off that first level, but he kind of just tiptoed his way around, got the first down, and now will we see Albuquerque be a little bit more aggressive now that they're close to midfield? We'll shift Finnemore over to that left side, make it more of a pro formation on the single back. Drive back to throw, had pursuing defenders, finds Finnemore on that left side, and will net them about 8 yards. Albuquerque calls their second timeout.
Okay, Marion's been quiet. She's had 3 targets, only 1 reception.
Just 11 yards in this first half. Finnemore has been the reaper of the benefits, and only has 3 receptions for 46 yards. Speaking of Marion, she's going to shift over to that slot side on the right.
Good luck defending her.
There will be a play fake,
Ooh.
but the defense kept tight and ready. Melaitis Manning gets the sack.
He's like a terror on the field. A ball magnet.
Was not phased at all with the fake handoff and went straight to Jive. I bet he didn't even care if he had the football or not.
That's the second sack of the game.
Yeah, he's
from the cornerback position.
He's the only guy that sacked Jive here tonight. Third down, they're going to shift Finnemore over to the left side. Chicago looks ready for man, but Jive will go back to throw and will find Finnemore in a tight bubble, finds Finnemore down that left side, and they will go hurry up. Jive back to throw once again, trying to connect with Marion, and that might have been a little bit of miscommunication between her and Clarence Lee on who was going to grab the football.
Maybe he had 2 receivers right in the same area too.
You know, it's always tough when you have a teammate right beside you. You don't know if that ball's going to head toward you or not. And they were both guessing they were going to them specifically. 2nd and 10. Jive back to throw again. Finds Wall down the middle for a short 5-yard gain. They're going to stick with the hurry up though. Down to 20 seconds here in the half. It's going to be a play fake. Jive will look over the left side and finds side. And you were talking about this. It only took a matter of time before Marion gets her touchdown. 6 on the board for Albuquerque.
If I was Chicago's defense, you have to know where she is on the field at all times, and somehow she got behind your secondary.
Yeah,
you can't do that. It cannot happen.
That one was very tough. It looked like, I want to say that was Alex Bond on that secondary coverage going for the interception instead of the coverage, and that's what left Marion open on that left side. And Albuquerque will get a score here before the end of the half, and that has got to be big heading to the locker room.
Definitely. Like I said, she was behind everybody. And she's a huge target. You can't miss her on the field.
Oh, it's almost Amazonian at 6'6". You can't miss her at all. Extra point is up and good. Extends that lead back to 10. We're at 17-7. 15 seconds left in the second. This kickoff is underway once again. Can we get a return? Decent work for Chicago, and they will get something out of it. It will start things off at the 32-yard line. And with 10 seconds left in the second quarter, are they going to be aggressive, or are they going to set themselves just to get to the locker room for halftime?
I mean, if Attack can get off 3 quick long passes, you have 3 timeouts.
They do have all 3 timeouts. They would have to be some quick hits, and those receivers have to be ready to run fast. First down, and will be Patak back to throw, trying to find someone, looking deep, and will find Gus Scott over on the left side to get to the 41-yard line, and Chicago will call timeout before the end of the half.
You got 1 shot at the end zone here.
Safely say Hail Gary?
Definitely. Let's see what Patak does.
It looks to be so. That traditional 3 right, 1 left Hail Mary formation. A lot of space for Patak to throw this one, and it's almost in the hands of Bryant James, and that will end the half here. Albuquerque extends the lead back to 10. 17-7 is your score at halftime. Rochelle, A lot of ups and downs for both of these teams. What did you see out there throughout this first half?
See a Chicago offense that can move the ball down the field. They've been showing that all night. And they finally got past will fizzle out right past the midfield. They're having a pretty decent game. Chicago's hanging in there with them.
Yeah, and for a team that's 2-7, I was saying it's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's always the size of the fight in the dog, and we've seen it, over the last couple weeks. Some close losses to Carolina and Atlanta back in weeks 9 and 10. Like this is a tough team, and you can't think of them as just some ho-hum 2-17. They will fight to the bitter end. Cyrus Drive is your halftime player of the game, which is pretty fair. He started to get pretty hot here, but Rochelle, we're going to take a step back. We're going to get ourselves a quick halftime break presented by Break.
We just pulled a full-size Taylor Swift helmet. Shout out to all our Swifties. Travis Kelce. This is a Giants Lawrence Taylor.
Patrick Mahomes.
Chad Johnson with the Ocho Cinco.
We have a Drew Brees.
Is that an O.J. Simpson jersey?
It's an Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my goodness.
Tom Brady! Tom Brady!
Break into the world of sports memorabilia, collecting with Breaks GPG. Featuring signed football jerseys, helmets, photos, and more, Breaks GPT offers you a shot at winning autographed and authenticated sports memorabilia at a fraction of the price. Join the community collectors on our Breaks GPT Facebook page and lock in your shot at hitting a humongous headliner on our site, breaksgpt.com. Albuquerque's Kyle Fenimore with a nice little spin move to get Albuquerque started at the 32-yard line. And it was a good end to the half for the Adams, extending that lead to 10. They finally got K. Marion open on a touchdown pass. Can things continue going their way for Albuquerque in the second half?
Let's see if they make some adjustments on defense, because Chicago's been having their way in the middle of the field. So let's see if Chicago can get a big stop here, get the ball back.
And what's crazy is that Chicago is outpacing Albuquerque in the offensive department. 189 for Albuquerque, 215 for Chicago.
That fumble really was disastrous.
Yes, and that's what helped them get that first score of the game as well, to get that to 7-0 to start things off. You always want to have the early advantage. Handoff over to Williams, who will get some decent space off his tackle and will get 7 yards to start off Albuquerque's drive here in the third quarter.
A nice run by Williams there.
And sometimes that's all you can ask for your running back. You want to get those 4 to 7 yard plays. Those are the ones where you say, yep, that's a good run.
Another heavy set.
Yeah, no receivers to the outside. They have got practically their entire lineup on the line here as they go to Taylor on second down, and that gets stymied. That's a good hit from DJ Kilgan, and we've said his name a couple times tonight. 3rd and 1.
Yep, I'm thinking you're going to see run here again. This time you got Williams in the backfield. Jason Williams in the backfield.
Yeah, and remember that failed 3rd down earlier. They had Taylor in the backfield. Now it's going to be Williams on the toss play and almost gets through it, but...
Oh, he rolled over.
Oh, he rolled just over. I was about to say the first tackle attempt from Doug Day got to Alex Bond first, but Chicago, I think wisely so, we're going to take ourselves a retroactive look here of that play, brought to you by Retroid. Get your console to play SFL on the go at goretroid.com. Rochelle, that one's a very close play to call.
I think he rolled over Alex Bond, and I think he got the first down. Yep, because he never touched.
Yeah, and the big marker here is that he's definitely still in bounds. He's definitely within that rights there. Now it's where the football is placed on that initial down by contact. And it is going to be overturned.
I'm always wrong.
So the placing of that football, Rochelle, is what mattered on that tackle, and it was still short of the first down marker. They're going to say 4th in inches.
I think Albuquerque's going to go for it here. And I was wrong again.
And this is why we're broadcast people and not coaches, Rochelle.
Definitely.
As punches
I tried
away.
coaching. It wasn't fun.
And I'm just here to be secondary help for Vancouver, if I'm being honest. Football return to the 21-yard line. And Chicago, again, another opportunity to see if they can swing momentum back their way. They stopped a decent Albuquerque drive. Can they get themselves going? Can they hit the middle of the field again?
Let's see what defensive. Yep, they're still in the zone, I think.
Two receivers with the two tight ends here on first down on an offset eye. Patak back to throw, finds DeQueen. And it is a little bit on that right-hand side. They're going to mark it 2nd and inches coming up for Chicago.
I think Patak's picking up where he left off before half, finding his receivers in the middle of the field in the zone defense.
And despite Jive being the first half player of the game, you got to give it to Patak as well. 15 of 25 for 220. I'd take that any day of the week. There's going to be a draw play, and Patak trying to get through and the wherewithal to move forward in that pile to get the first down. That is a gutsy play from Patak.
And you don't see him slide whatsoever. It's amazing. He stay in the game.
Probably one of the more gutsier quarterbacks in this league. You don't see him slide a lot. He likes to take that hit. Patak back to throw on 1st and 10. One-handed catch. And Tina Queen does it again. I'm going to call it, Ray. That is the nice hands catch of the game, brought to you by Retroid. Put a Retroid handheld in your hands and play the only video game with your player in it and an SFL 4K23. That is just perfect. That's a picture.
That was nasty.
Play. Yeah, absolutely perfect.
They had 3 defenders draping her.
Yeah, that's just perfectly thrown by Patak, too. 2 receivers to the left on this first down. Patak on a quick set and drop, and it's intercepted down the middle. William Patterson has been looking for that all game, and he finally gets one in his hands. And momentum shifts, not in Chicago's way, but back to Albuquerque.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the middle of the field's a dangerous place, and that time the linebacker just sat there.
And again, we talked about those adjustments, and I was saying, maybe they just need to bring a linebacker back to cover that middle of the field. And Patterson, that was just a perfectly placed area for Patterson to grab that football. And now Albuquerque's going to start things off at the Chicago 40.
It's a gift.
Absolute gift. Let's see if they can take advantage of that gift. And Williams thought he was going to break free on that tackle and go away, but he's only going to get 10.01 yards on the run.
I thought he was gone myself. Get tackled from behind.
There was no safeties, even 15 yards deep down the field, so it took one defender to stop him before getting to the end zone. And Jason Williams got to think to himself, I could have gotten touchdown number 12. Jive back to throw here on this first down, trying to go down the middle, but 3 Chicago defenders in the area. Might have been ill-advised to throw that football incomplete.
Yep, definitely a risky pass. K-Magic was right there with the pass deflection.
And you got to give credit to Chicago as well. They've had their fair share of pass deflections in this game as well. And they're a top 10 team in interceptions in this league. 16 all amongst the secondary.
That's pretty good.
2nd and 10. A more heavier set, and it will give it to Jason Williams, who again breezes right through and will get himself 9.5 to make it 3rd and inches. And we're starting to see the thrill of Thrilliums coming into action in this 3rd quarter.
It's taking more than one person to tackle him right now, so.
And a much different story than what we've seen in that first half. Williams would get 4 or 5 yards. It's still pretty good, but now he's starting to get those big chunks of yardage. Handoff to Taylor will get open space, and that is fantastic work from the offensive line. But a man is down. That is K-Magic, one of the projected all-stars for Chicago, and he was part of that tackle, and I think he might have landed funny on the way down.
Hopefully he can come back into the game soon.
That's definitely something you want to have, especially with, the receiving core that Albuquerque does have. That might give someone like Clarence Lee an opportunity to get himself involved in this Albuquerque offense. But it's going to be 1st and 10, and pretty much in a goal scenario for Albuquerque. Jive will go throw to the outside to Justin Williams, but not enough space on that left side to turn, and they're going to call it a 0-yard completion.
I mean, he had plenty of space in front of him. He just couldn't. The momentum carried him out of bounds.
That's 6'4", 260 that you're trying to move around. So for some people, it might be a little bit easier than most, but it's difficult if you have 260 pounds, to haul. Jive back to throw again here on 2nd down, trying to find. I'm not sure if that was intended for Justin Williams or to K. Marion. We've seen that again. That's the second time that receivers, are missing, who's in front of them.
That was, the 2 receivers right in the same area. It's always, is it my ball or yours? Should I go for it or not?
They're going to forget about a running back in the backfield. This is an empty set for 3rd and 10. Back to throw. Just overthrows Lee wide open on the right side, but that was about 3 or 4 yards too much. And, I'm a guy that says he loves his mustard, but that was too much mustard.
I mean, it's definitely wide open. It just a little bit. Yeah, it was really a hard thrown ball.
Yeah, and everyone loves a little zip in their football, but sometimes, an arcing pass works too. That's going to lead to a 28-yard attempt from Rob Ems. And from the left hash, it doesn't make it automatic. Going to make sure he lines this up, and lines it up. He does. Right down Broadway, no problem at all. 8-play drive ends in 3 points once again, but extends this game to 20-7 in favor of Albuquerque.
I mean, I'm sorry. There's still plenty of time, Brett. I mean, you're only 2 scores down.
Well, it's just one explosive play, and that can change the entire facet of this contest. This kickoff is underway. And they will return it in the end zone. It's going to be Battle, who's still on return duty here for Chicago, and he will get himself to the 28-yard line. You're watching the Simulation Football League action here on the Virtual Football Network. This week on VFN will feature SFL today to Monday, the SFLM playoffs on Wednesday, and UFL on Thursday. It's another week of non-stop action right here on the Virtual Football Network.
I find it interesting that they're using a generic player for the return. A non-contracted player is returning the ball.
Well, they do have 2 inactive players as well tonight that we haven't mentioned. Ryan Arlovsky and Lyric Da Vinci are both out in inactivity tonight, so that also limits their options for who to get out there. 2nd and 10 coming up for Chicago. Be a rollout for Patak, going to the right side, trying to find Jackson, and it falls off the face mask. It didn't really get to his hands, and now it's a very quick 3rd and 10.
And Pauly True still has been really, really quiet.
And that's a guy that shouldn't be too quiet. You got to be careful with him. He could explode in any minute. Attack back to throw on 3rd and 10. Has to get out of the pocket and finds a target over on the left side. And that is one of those replacements to those receivers. Calico will get the catch.
Nice to come off the bench. You hardly get any playing time. You come in and make a huge play.
And you don't see that all too often. And a throw on the run for Patak, trying to find anyone who's even remotely open, finds Calico, from that middle left side. Great work done. Handoff this time will go for maybe a yard. Fred Beasley with the carry.
Yeah, Chicago just can't establish the run game.
And I don't think they've tried all that much to establish
No, we haven't.
either, because they've maybe officially ran the football maybe 6 or 7 times tonight. Attack, back to throw. And needs to get some more space, and that might have been the cause of it. A lot of coverage down the field, and it was ended up being deflected by Napier.
I credit Albuquerque's defense for putting pressure on Patak every single play. He's very uncomfortable. He's got to move around the whole entire time.
And what's interesting, that since the interception to William Patterson, he's not thrown it to the middle all that much. He's been trying to find, the opposite sides of the field. That might not be working because Albuquerque's covered those sides pretty well. They're going to overload for 39 on the right side. And we'll try to find a target, and that pass might have been a little bit too high. And that's going to fall incomplete, and the drive will just fizzle out again for Chicago.
Good job by Albuquerque's defense, forcing the punt.
Big drastic change that we've seen in that third quarter. You got to remember, second quarter, it was all pass for Chicago. 136 passing yards, but right now in this third quarter, just 41, as that is fair caught at the 18-yard line. And now Albuquerque has their chance to really blow this game out of the water if they can get a score on this drive.
I expect Albuquerque to start eating clock at some point, just going straight run game, but we'll see.
You know, and eating the clock might be to their favor. They are 7 of 13 on third downs in this game, and more effectively, well, it hasn't been great as of recently. They are one of their last 3. There will be a pass on first down, but great pursuit, but it's not enough. Kyle Finnemore gets in front of the defenders to get the catch and a first down.
I mean, Chicago is bringing the pressure. I mean, some great plays by Cyrus Jive. Even better catch by Finnemore.
Chicago brought 7 on the blitz, and the offensive line gave Jive enough time to find Finnemore in front of the defenders. So that's another great credit to the offensive line of Albuquerque. As Jack Wall will move over to the slot left side. Jive back to throw. We'll go with the swing pass to Jason Williams, who will get 6 yards on that catch and run, and we've seen that a couple times. He's been getting some good yardage.
That play is really working well for them.
And you mentioned this earlier, Rochelle. It's about, you know, centrating that Chicago defense, getting the wide open space on either side of the field for Williams to run on that catch and run. And it's been working really well for them. They're going to move Marion over to the lone receiver side. Maybe give a little bit extra space for Taylor to move forward, and he does. That is some hard trucking work for Taylor to get the first down.
It's almost like a punishing run game at this point. Their backs just hit hard.
And I wouldn't blame Albuquerque if they just decided to run the ball if they had just 5 yards to go to the first down marker for the rest of this game. Jive will go back to throw, looking for a target on the left, and will find Justin Williams, and he has been a great benefactor on the pass game too. 4th reception will mark another Adam first down.
He's the number 2 receiver right now in this game.
Well, along with Jason as well, both of them have 4 receptions, but Williams has the more yardage, now up to 37 in this game compared to Jason's 28.
Right behind Kyle Finnemore, who has 5 receptions for 74 yards.
That's a great balance of the football from Albuquerque. They love to share that rock as much as they can, as Williams will get another 6-yard run, and that's what you want if you're eating the clock. You want to get those 4, 5, 6-yard runs.
Yeah, they're very methodical on this drive.
And you gotta love methodical when you're up 13. Another heavy set on second down. We're going to shift Justin over the left side a little bit, an offset I formation to help with the toss. Taylor has plenty of space, but Chicago catches up to him and will only net about a yard. That's great pursuit from the Chicago defenders to make it 3rd and 3.
If they're in 3, you see run here, you see pass.
Well, with this formation, this screams run. I would almost suspect maybe a strong toss, but they're going to go inside dive.
No.
And Jason Williams will get no traction at all. They're going to very favorably give him 2 yards. That didn't even look like 2 inches, let alone yards.
That time he got caught up behind his own blocker.
Yeah, that's always the toughest, especially if you're trying to push a 350-pound lineman to just inch forward. Sometimes it doesn't work. And now Albuquerque's going to punt this football away, and that is a high arcing one. And that'll be fair caught at the 18. So that's maybe a 20-yard punt at best from Albuquerque.
But the hang time.
And that hang time.
Straight up in the air.
It'll make Michael Jordan jealous of the hang time. Now Chicago This has got to be the moment where you've got to move down the field and score. You're down 13, 11 minutes to go in the game. And they will start off with a run for Beasley, who will net 2. Maybe just to, get Albuquerque off guard on this first play of the drive.
That caught me off guard.
I mean, if it was against LA, maybe it would have worked a little bit more.
Hey.
Patak back to throw on second down, looking on the right side, finds his target. Gus Scott had a traipsing defender on him, but still manages to get his hands on the football. First down, Chicago.
Welcome to the game, Gus Scott.
It's the second catch of the game, and it's again another tough catch. He had one in that second quarter too, but man, Bryant James was all over him, and Gus Scott managed to find that football in his hands. And you can see where that success of Ty Patak's passing has been. It has been 80% middle. And maybe he's got to go back to that middle, even with that William Patterson interception. And he will go down the middle, trying to find a queen. Overthrew his target. It's going to be 2nd and 10.
If you're Chicago, you have to get some points at this right here, right now.
We can't have another drive stalling, because Albuquerque's scoring, in smaller increments, but they're still scoring and running up that scoreboard on their side. You have to respond in some time. Second down, Patak back to throw, looking on the right side, and it's caught, but it's fumbled, and it will be returned by Albuquerque. This could be a challengeable call here, Rochelle. I'm not sure if there was full possession of that football before the fumble.
I would definitely challenge this. I don't think it was a fumble.
And we'll see if we can get a replay out of this before the challenge. And it was decently caught by Scott, but I don't think there was enough possession on that football. And if it stands, TJ Frosty will get the fumble recovery, and rightly so. Chicago's going to challenge this, so we're going to take yet another retroactive look. And let's see if Chicago goes 2 for 2 on challenges here tonight.
I thought the ball was stripped from when he caught, right when he caught it. So
the big key on this one is if Gus Scott made a football play in order to get that fumble, and that's a very tight call. It could go either way looking from that angle. And the call will stand.
Again.
So they will say Gus Scott made a football move before the strip. So TJ Frosty, get yourself a fumble recovery, and another turnover could possibly bite Chicago tonight.
It's disaster for Chicago right now.
The third turnover, and it's been through different ways. A punt return fumble, an interception, and a reception fumble. Jive will sling this back to the left side, and Jason Williams again taking advantage of the open field will get the first down on the catch and run off the swing.
Once again, they set up in a heavy formation and just leaves the sidelines open.
They could call that for the rest of the game, and I think they could guarantee themselves 5 yards per play at this point.
Definitely.
Albuquerque is content to shedding this clock to 0-0s. We're going to get our 4s up in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Albuquerque up 20-7. We'll be right back after just a few seconds. Brett Sahlberg, Rochelle Colston here with you in Albuquerque. 20-7 is your score at the start of the fourth quarter. And Albuquerque is threatening to score once again off another turnover. Rochelle, it's been 10 points off of turnovers for Albuquerque so far. Patak, or Jive, back to throw, and almost gets it to Marion, but what's possibly could have been even worse, almost to Derek Majors.
And Derek Majors had both hands on that one. He should have probably came down with it. That's why he plays defense.
Yet again, another pass deflection. No interceptions yet for Chicago. But Albuquerque has one in the form of William Patterson, who has been electric for the Albuquerque defense tonight. 2nd and 10. It's going to be split back formation. Dive on a two-step drop, finds Jack Wall down the middle, and we haven't seen, too many deep routes from Wall, but that one definitely paid to its benefits.
Yeah, when you have a big tight end in the middle of the field against a smaller back, it's almost like a give me. It's really almost not fair.
I mean, you've got to find that big target. You've got to find someone like Jack Wall, who's he lives by his name, 6'7", 255. He is a Wall. Jive back to throw again, looking for that swing pass, but for the first time in this contest, Ray, we actually had a defender out to cover that pass.
And he made the perfect hit at the perfect time, and the ball was just uncatchable at that point.
That was great work from, it looked to be Derek Majors on that hit as well. That's 10 seasoned veteran coming at you as well. That's the veteran play recognition coming into effect. 2nd and 10 now for Albuquerque. And Chicago bringing the action, and it was great coverage by Chicago as well. Majors once again off that pass deflection. Finnemore, the intended target, 3rd and 10.
Wow, he should have caught that one too. He's probably mad at himself at this point in the game.
You've said that a lot from Chicago's defense. Should have caught this, should have caught that. Maybe they just had too much popcorn on the sidelines.
They shouldn't give him popcorn at halftime.
No, that's a high carb snack as well. Like, you should be having oranges, apples. Like, get some fruit in there. Like, get off the Twinkie diet. Jive back to throw on 3rd down, has to roll out a little bit, tries to find Clarence Lee in the end zone, but once again, Derek Majors with the deflection.
That's his 3rd in a row.
And I think that's his 4th or 5th total tonight as well.
That's his 4th on this drive.
It's his 6th. They're saying it's his 6th tonight. He has been all over this passing game, but can't manage to get hold on the football. That is just terrible luck. And Mike O'Neill is screaming at Derek Majors right now that he's got to catch one. And Albuquerque will get another 3 points off the turnover, and will make it 23-7 early stages of the 4th quarter. We want the SFL to reach more people. Do you? The best way to do that is to smash that like button. Leave a comment on the video, subscribe to the channel. You can help us reach all the people who need more football in their lives. Thanks for your support of the Virtual Football Network.
Mike O'Neill's going to start calling him Stonehand Majors.
Hey, that's reserved for Jeff Gagne, and you know it, Mike O'Neill. If anybody remembers Jeff Gagne back in the London days, he couldn't catch an interception to save his life, it feels like, and the passes kept going his way every time. But Chicago looking to get a touchdown their way on this drive, see if they can make this a contest as Patak finds Scott over on the right side, and this is what they need more of. 1st down catches immediately.
I still want to see more of Pauly Truth.
Yeah, that's another surprising thing. He is active tonight. He is, on the roster, and there hasn't been any targets his way. Not seeing him on this line here on this 1st and 10. Looks like they've been using a receiver on that tight end spot. That's Scott over on that left side. And they're going to throw it his way. And that might have been something they've adjusted this week, and possibly get their faster receivers out in the field to get those, and another 1st down happens.
Still likes the middle of the field.
And like you said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, as he crosses the 300-yard mark. Back to throw, goes to Jackson on the short side, and we'll gain 4 yards out of it. Quick update from Sin City, our other game on this block here. Sin City cruising through past Pittsburgh, final score 38-14. Sin City improving themselves, I believe, over 500 once again this season. Patak back to throw once again, has to scramble through, but there is no space for him to get past his lineman, and there was no chance at all. Great hit from Leo Jefferson.
Yeah, that being the pocket just broke down very, very quickly there, and the defenders just all came from all sides.
Yeah, Joshua Williams, Bryant James in the vicinity as well. It was just a sooner or later. And he took the nearest option, it felt like. And Leo Jefferson is going to get himself a sack, and it's going to be now 3rd and 8 coming up for Chicago. They need to make this. This has been a struggle for them in this game. Just 2 of 7 on 3rd down. Attack on a 5-step drop. Looks down the middle of the field, and it's in and out of the hands of John Fullerton. And I believe that is his first target of this second half. So maybe cold hands played no effect of that one.
And once again, William Peterson coming up with this huge hit. Just knocks the ball loose.
Now, on the stat sheet, it won't say a lot so far in his game. Just 1 tackle, 1 assisted, 3 pass deflections. But that 1 interception has been vital to Albuquerque's defensive night tonight. And Chicago's just going to punt this baby away and hopes to get this into a tight spot, but that'll easily roll to the end zone. They'll be called for a touchback. Albuquerque with 7 minutes and 11 seconds to go to preserve their 23-7 lead.
Expect a very methodical drive here from Albuquerque. Expect to see Jason Williams and Justin Williams a lot, and Taylor.
Well, here's what we've seen from Albuquerque's drive so far. Minute 5, 3 minutes 15, 1 minute 29, 1 minute 13. So they're trying, but there's been a lot of quick drives from Albuquerque in this half. Be Jive back to throw, going for that swing pass, and it looks like Chicago is starting to figure things out as they have a defender over on that same side, Alex Bond, with his 9th solo tackle of the game.
Whenever your strong safety has a lot of tackles in a game, that means things are not going very good on defense.
He's been all over the place as well. It hasn't been just on the far side. He's been on the near side as well. Jive back to throw again, looking for Marion. And Cronkworthy almost had himself a league-leading 8th interception. That was a close one.
Yeah, and Cyrus Jive's been a little off here lately with his passing.
He's kept things clean. He's 20 of 37, but you could easily say a couple of passes going the wrong way, and he could easily have 2 or 3 picks in the contest for sure. And he's starting to struggle a little bit. He's 5 of his last 10. Jive back to throw. He's got pocket time. Looking down the field. It's coming, picked off! A little bit of a hot potato action from Ricky Robinson, and Chicago has a little bit of life here.
He decided to play the tip drill all by himself.
And that one grossly overthrown again. We've seen this a couple times from Jive where he overthrows that football, and again, it feels like the guy who's been on the receiving end of overthrows is Clarence Lee. That was the intended target.
Now look at this field position. They've got to score here.
This is a need-to-score scenario for Chicago. They can't afford to get 0 on this drive. Starting at Albuquerque's 28, Patak back to throw, finds Scott down the middle on a crossing route. And we've seen this a lot. Starting the drive with a first down, they just need consistency.
And they came out with first down passing, which doesn't surprise me for Chicago.
Patak already at 41 pass attempts in this contest, otherwise known to Ty Patak as a regular Sunday for him. He will bring out 2 receivers to his right and has that slot tight end over on his left. Patak back to throw. Off his back foot, finds Tina Queen! And 2 plays, how do you do? 6 on the board for Chicago.
Now look out now, but the momentum's kind of shifting towards Chicago. Albuquerque's offense is definitely struggling, especially with the passing game.
And it's a little bit of a taste of Albuquerque's medicine at this stage. Albuquerque's got 13 points off turnovers. Chicago gets their first 7 off that turnover from Ricky Robinson off the tip drill interception, and it pays off for them. And ladies and gentlemen, this is now a contest. The kick from Top Kiefer is going to be up and good, and it's a 9-point game, Rochelle, with 6 minutes left to go. Don't touch that dial. Don't go anywhere. We got ourselves a game.
I'm surprised they didn't go for 2 right there.
Well, it'd only bring it to 8, and they would have to do it again if that were the case. It would still be two possessions in the mind, because it's not guaranteed with those 2-point conversions. Kickoff return in the end zone will get past the 25-yard line up to the 27. And now Albuquerque, do you think they'll lay off the pass and start running the ball a little bit more?
I definitely would. I mean, okay, Cyrus Jive is struggling a little bit, so I'd definitely go back to the run game, which was working for them.
And Jive hasn't been afraid to throw this football either. We mentioned the 42 pass attempts from Patak. Jive has thrown the ball 38 times as well. So this has been a battle of 2 quarterbacks in this game.
Really? Because I thought they ran the ball a lot more too, so I'm not sure.
It's a little bit shocking, but still, this is going to be pass number 39 in and out of the hands of Justin Williams. And maybe you're right, Rochelle. Maybe the momentum is starting to shift, because that should be an easy catch for Justin Williams.
Yeah, but Chicago's learned they have somebody on the outside now covering that little swing pass.
And Chicago may be starting to, peak at the right time in this game. They're starting to really defensively respond. K. Marion is going to shift over to that left side, and now it looks to be a safety on her. They're going to go with that swing pass once again, and will push Jason Williams out of bounds, and that's going to be no gain. 3rd and 10 coming out for the Adams.
Yeah, big play by Cronkworthy there. I think it's the 2nd time he's been out there on the corner.
Yeah, Cronkworthy, that's a guy, like I said, I think he's probably one of the best defensive players coming this season. He's got 7 picks. He's got himself 8 TFLs coming into this game, 44 tackles. Jive back to throw here on 3rd down, has to scramble. He's got 1 pursuant defender, and Sean Parent gets to him before he crosses the 1st down marker, 3 yards short. Albuquerque's forced to punt this away.
Things are getting very interesting now.
Chicago's making all the right stops right now, and they're going to get this football with about 5 minutes left to go. This is starting to get what the kids like to call juicy, as this punt is returned at the 30-yard line and not too much further. Battle will get himself to the 32-yard line. It'll go right back into the hands of Ty Patak, who has been red hot in this last 10 minutes, Rochelle.
Yeah, the good news is you're a passing team, so you should be able to get down that field very quickly.
You should be getting through pretty quickly here. We've seen a lot of first play 11, 12-yard catches. Will they do that again here on 1st down?
No.
They're going to go the handoff to Beasley this time again, trying to catch Albuquerque off guard. It seems to be the same story. Stretch handoff, 2 yards.
You got to go back to the air.
Now, don't be afraid to throw that football, especially when Patak is at 329 in terms of yardage. Scott's going to move over to the right side. Maybe they see an open spot that he can run to. Going to sling it over to Queen, and we'll find Queen almost on a crossing pattern with her and Scott. It's going to be in 1st down for Chicago.
They don't seem to be too much of a hurry here, though. Clock's just ticking away.
We'll see how quickly they get to the line here. They are starting to pace it up a little bit more. See them start to line up with about 30 seconds left. The pace is starting to creep up for them. Patak back to throw. Will find Scott on a one-handed catch, and will creep his way forward for another Chicago 1st down. And we've seen this a lot. They need to take advantage, and it might be that right side of the field that they need to take advantage of now.
That was a great catch. That was one-handed, falling over.
We've seen that quite a few times from these receivers. DeQueen has done that, 3 or 4 times tonight. Gus Scott with another one of his great catches tonight. These Chicago receivers are on point. Handoff to Beasley. Will only net themselves a yard, and I might be with you, Rochelle. It might be just forget about the run, just sling that rock.
Slinging the rock's been working. Why change it?
And Patak is, increasing that completion percentage up above 60%. As that pass off the shoulder of Gus Scott in between double coverage in the right area, just couldn't get to his hands.
I think that was kind of forced there. There's too many defenders in the area.
Seen a lot of forced throws that have led to completions, though, for Patak, so That might have been more of a heat check pass, if anything.
Well, stop the clock. That's one good thing.
3rd and 9 for Patak and company as they go for Fullerton on the right side, but can't keep himself in bounds. They are a yard short. It's 4th and 1 and decision time for Chicago.
They have to go for it. I see Patak's on the field.
They will go for it. And this is going to be huge. They can convert this. This carries the momentum. If they don't, Albuquerque is 3 minutes away from winning this matchup. And a pass over the left side into double coverage, incomplete, turnover on downs.
And guess who? TJ Frosty there once again.
And TJ Frosty, and it looked like Amar Bryant Jr. was on the initial coverage as well. Again, you might be right on this one, Ray. That might have been a forced throw again from Patak, but that one he had to. He had to throw
Well, 3rd and 1. Should you have run the ball there?
Well, with how they're running, how successful their running has been, I wouldn't have.
They got 2. They're getting 1 and 2 yards. They only needed 1.
Handoff over to Jason Williams, who will creep himself forward for 9 yards, and this is what Albuquerque needs. Run the football, drain the clock.
Definitely. And I expect to see nothing but run from Albuquerque at this point. You can't afford to throw another interception. You gotta keep the ball on the ground.
You can't afford to stop the clock either, because that'll be at Chicago's benefit. But we also have to remember that Chicago only has 2 timeouts left after their failed challenge earlier in this half as well. So any time stop for Chicago is going to be a good thing. 2nd and 1. They're going to go heavy. They're going to move Jack Wall out probably as a decoy. They really shed that clock. It's going to be a handoff to Taylor, who's going to bruise his way forward. And we have seen that quite a few times as well in this game, where it looks like they're going to be dropped for a loss, but the running backs, they push themselves forward.
Definitely some, bruising running game from Albuquerque tonight.
And we haven't seen it a lot in this game. They only have, well, I shouldn't say a lot. They have 114 rushing yards in this game. It's been a well-balanced effort in terms of run and pass in terms of yardage. Although the discrepancy for pass has been, a lot, surprisingly a lot for Albuquerque. 2 minutes to go in this 4th quarter. Can Albuquerque sustain this 9-point lead? We only have one way to find out. Back at Jordana Del Muerto in Albuquerque, and the Adams are 2 minutes away from their 8th win of the season and their 12th straight home win, as the handoff goes to Jason Williams, who bruises through for another 3 yards, and Chicago is forced to call their 2nd timeout. Remember, they lost one of their timeouts due to a failed challenge earlier, trying to get back the Gus Scott fumble, but it didn't work.
And that time, Jason Williams was caught by 2 defenders on the line of scrimmage and somehow got 3 yards out of that.
It's been a recurring story, turning 0 yards into multiple yards. It's the strength of this Adams running back core that has surprised us here tonight, as Williams will push his way forward, make it a 3rd and 1, and that is it for timeouts. Last timeouts called by Chicago, and this might be 1st down and ball game for Albuquerque.
Yeah, puts in the backfield this time. It's Williams.
This is where I would feed it to Justin Williams. He hasn't had a carry yet tonight. And a fullback dive is, it almost feels automatic with how this offensive line is going. But they're going to go with Jason Williams, who's pushing forward and will just narrowly get the 1st down. And that clock is going to keep ticking away.
You expect to see the victory formation here out of Albuquerque.
Well, in a little bit, they want to juice up this time as much as they can. And it will be victory formation, and it looks like they will have enough plays to get this off. So Albuquerque will get themselves to 8-2, and this was a major victory for them, as Mexico City is breathing down their backs as the Aztecs will play tomorrow at home against Vancouver to see if they can get themselves to 7-2. And the Adams now have 2 weeks to study game film on Mexico City to get themselves not only the head-to-head advantage, but potentially even more separation in the South Division.
That should be a really good game tomorrow night, Brett.
Yeah, currently slated for Saturday, April 5th. That's going to be one of our earlier games, it looks like right now. And as well, their Week 15 matchup will be Fort Worth, who is last in their division, but currently holds a playoff spot at 5-4. The South has been absolutely crazy this season, whereas Chicago will fall themselves to 2-8, but it's been a hard fighting 2-8, as you see in this battle here. Another close loss. Chicago's making all the right progressions on this team. They just haven't figured it out in terms of, full-fledged victories so far this season. They've won against Oklahoma City and Nashville, but both of them are winless teams at this stage. But they're still going to fight until the end of this. And we have hit triple zeros here in New Mexico. Albuquerque improves themselves to 8-2, make the final 23-14 in a tough, hard-hitting, passing and running fight. Rochelle, give us your take on this game.
I think Chicago just came out and they played a very good game. Turnovers killed them. That was the
biggest thing for them. And 3 key turnovers, and Albuquerque scored off all of them. And that really is the difference maker in this game, because Type Attack did really well to keep Chicago in this game all throughout this game.
And I think Cyrus Shaw is my player of the game.
Unofficially on our stat sheet, 21 of 40 for 214 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Very solid game for Jive. I would personally give it to Jason Williams, who had a dual threat effort, 87 yards on the ground, 39 on the air. But that's going to do for us here in New Mexico. 23-14 is your final score. Albuquerque goes on top. On behalf of Jadooby Doo and Ron Haynes on stats, alongside Rochelle Colston here by my side, and of course, you can't forget about Commissioner Extraordinaire Cameron Irvine. I have been Brett Sahlberg. This has been a fantastic game. We will see you on the flip side, and I will bid you all a bidoo.